Welcome to another episode of Adventures in Movies Looks at dot dot dot. This week, I am joined by the hosts of Adventures in Movies.
Hey, that's us.
Well, hello. And I'm Blake, and I cut Danny off.
You did.
Sorry.
Hey,
And
I
I'm
just realized
Nathaniel.
that I have.
And I tried to politely wait, but then Danny cut me off. It was like a vicious
This is
cycle.
a Thanksgiving show. This is a Thanksgiving show. This is exactly what it is.
This is how things go during the
Yeah.
holiday. You can only see the top of my head. I'm obviously hunched over. So this week we're looking at Run. Run is a thriller on Hulu. It's about a daughter who's being taken care of by her doting mother. The daughter learns a secret about her. Run has set records on Hulu already, but the real question is, what do we think about it?
Important things.
So, let's see. Sarah Paulson, she's an American Horror Story mainstay. First thing I remember seeing her in is American Gothic. She's not in movies very often, but this is in the horror realm. Would you consider her a scream queen?
Ooh, wow, that's a good question.
Shit, yeah, that's a really good question.
Yeah.
Yeah. Most def.
Someone's got to do it. It's a dirty job, but someone's got to do it.
And you know what? I think she does a good job at it.
She's good.
Well, I was gonna say, I mean, scream queen is such a weird term because some people embrace it, and some people back then they hated it. So,
Yeah.
And so I kind of waffle on it. Sometimes I'm like, I don't like it, and I don't know. When I saw her in this, I was like, oh, scream queen. So, but Danny, you said you liked it. So, what did you guys think of the performances? And really, it boils performances. It's Sarah Paulson and her daughter.
True.
Yeah. So I think the performances were pretty solid. And I really want to talk about the actress Kira Allen, who played Chloe. I really did like her, I guess, evolution as she's gone through. Where she, are we gonna spoiler this? This has been out for a week, right?
I'm glad that you mentioned it. No, we're not going to spoil it.
Okay.
There's heavy spoilers in this. We're not going to ruin anybody's enjoyment of it.
Okay.
We will talk about some things that are relevant to the plot, but no, we will not spoil anything for anyone.
So as the thrills and the mysteries going, I do feel like how Chloe or Kira is has a lot of expression. There is a lot of like hurry up kind of in a way. Like I do feel like how anxious she is in a lot of the times and how naive. Like I don't know how many times anybody's perceived or acted out. But I do feel like she did pretty good in this. And Sarah Paulson, I don't know. I feel like she knocks it out a lot of the times when I see her. So I think I'm very biased on Sarah Paulson. So I'm not really gonna like really talk much about how she did. She did.
Yeah. No, the acting was really good. I thought it was interesting though. I thought it was like it did escalate in a way. Like as the movie progresses. Without spoilers, as things kind of unravel, I thought that maybe the performances were a little uneven at the end. You know, I thought it was like they got a little bit exaggerated towards the end, maybe. But overall, I did think they were good performances.
I think they were really good performances for the reasons that you mentioned, Danny. And I also think that Sarah Paulson, her character, there is an evolution. I mean, you're always suspicious of her without getting too much into it. There's always kind of like, what's behind her, but she's very, very quickly you see that she's a very strong-willed person, and I think she did a really good job of being that strong-willed person who also cared for her daughter, and maybe a little too much, but really great performances. So Blake, you were talking about how things start to escalate. Did you guys think it was a little too straightforward?
Ooh, too straightforward. Go ahead.
I think I do think so. I really do think so. I mean, I think everybody kind of loves this movie out in the social media world, but I do feel like this movie is. We've talked about how generic movies can be, and I do feel like when you follow a trope, you can't really like wiggle away from it. I mean, it does some things different from mystery thrillers, but I do feel this was, here's plot, here's point A, here's point B, here's your movie,
Yeah, I would agree. I would say it's a little one note in a lot of ways. Not that that's necessarily a bad thing. Kind of reminded me of like a Stephen King short story or something. There's actually a Stephen King reference in it.
Yeah, my girlfriend did say this, so it reminded her a lot of Misery.
Yeah, it has a Misery feel. There's a lot of there's a lot of King vibe to it. But yeah, a little one note,
Yep.
It's once and it's kind of cool that her daughter figures out. I mean, the whole thing starts just because she wants to steal some chocolates.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then from there it escalates, and it never, it never takes a step back after that. It's just unraveling this mystery throughout the whole thing. And it is a little one note, but like I did enjoy trying to figure out the mystery. I mean, you pretty quickly know what's going on, but there's still that question of like, what is that green pill? Like, what's going on there?
Yeah.
And I thought that was really cool. A few weeks ago, we talked about things being Lynchian, and then I made a joke about, and if there's someone in a wheelchair, it's Hitchcockian. And then, like 2 days later, I saw a description for this movie, and I sent it to you guys, and it was described as Hitchcockian.
Yeah.
So now that you guys have seen this movie, would you describe it as Hitchcockian?
No, not at all. No,
No, sir.
This is far from it.
No, this Hitchcockian films they play way more with like reality than this. This was, I mean, while there is some questions that you're asking yourself the entire time, I wasn't like, oh my gosh, like it's gonna be some crazy reveal. Like, no, it's gonna be one thing or the other.
Did you guys feel it was too predictable? I thought, and I guess kind of leading into it, it also has a lot of twists in the third act. I think maybe too many twists in the third act. I did not find like the actual reveal to be that predictable, though. I was so caught up in what's going on with the pill that I didn't. What actually did happen, I didn't see coming.
I 100% agree with that. I was I guess it's like this whole thing, like, this is what we're gonna show you, but then these are other cards that I'm gonna like start playing. And I was really like intrigued to know more about this bill and to know more about like how we got it. And as we got more information, and we're like, oh, okay. And then blah 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 happens, and you're just like, okay.
I thought it was predictable.
Yeah.
but that's not necessarily
though.
a bad thing, really. It didn't take away from the enjoyment I was getting from the movie.
It kind of goes back to getting to know you, what we were talking about. Like, it's fairly predictable what's going to happen. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's a bad thing.
Exactly.
Like, it's really it's like the old magic thing. It's a misdirection thing. Like, I was so caught up at one part of the story that when the other thing happened, I was like, oh, wow, that never, when it is, Danny's kind of alluded to it, it is kind of obvious. And Blake, you actually knew what it was exactly. So, the two characters, there are other characters involved, but it's really the mother and the daughter. What was the chemistry? How well did you think what the chemistry was between them?
I love
that.
it.
I agree with Danny. I thought that was one of the, that is the movie. Essentially, that their relationship and how they interact with each other, and how that changes is the entire movie. And the chemistry was great. It was great.
I told my girlfriend, like, this is kind of like what we saw in the movie last week, Getting to Know You. It's like, it's really good chemistry between both actresses, and and you see you see, like, again, the evolution that I talked about. It's just so good. It's really, really good, where both actresses they try to just keep each other going, I guess. Running.
I thought it was running is true. I thought it was really well done. Like, you really get the feel of the mom loving her, and the daughter, like how much she wants to go to college is so well done. Like, I think if it wasn't for those two, you really would have a very standard, generic, non-Hitchcockian movie. The actual ending, like, things get resolved, and then there's kind of I guess you can say, an epilogue. Yeah. What did you guys think of that? I thought it was kind of tacked on. Like,
it made me laugh.
It was now that part you could see coming, I thought.
Yeah, no, like it was like such a hard, and it was tacked on. I felt like that was like, maybe they, like, in screeners or something, people were like, nah, there needs to be some kind of final resolution.
Yeah, give me something else. Yeah.
I don't know.
Which they actually kind of had.
Yeah.
I feel like that whole thing, it wasn't really needed. We don't need it. I feel like now we're gonna have Run 2, Electric Boogaloo or whatever. it wasn't needed. I do want to say how Chloe looked. The makeup that they had in this whole movie was really fucking cool because at one point, and I guess this is
Yes.
where the Hitchcockian thing comes into play. How paranoid she looked. Her eyes got a little bit sunken. There was a little bit lost in color. I really do think like makeup played a lot with this too. And then you, on top of that, you have the actresses like whole thing. So
Mhm.
I do feel like if you see just the evolution of Chloe going through, you could see how makeup just gets better and better and better.
And the makeup on her special effects in the last scene are, I think, very well done for a very specific reason. Like she looks a certain way, and it's,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think it was great.
yeah.
They don't call attention to it. Well, I guess they kind of do call attention to it,
Well,
but
they
it's
really.
it's smart. It was
It's
very
yeah,
smartly done.
yeah,
I thought it was really wise.
yeah.
So, Run. It's on Hulu. So, Blake, I'll start with you. Your final thoughts. Should people run out and see this? Is it
Oh.
take your time or run in the opposite direction?
I guess yeah. Run your ass to your couch, plant your ass on it, and give it a stream. It's streamable. If you got Hulu, there's no reason you shouldn't check it out. It's kind of a fun little movie. Watch it with the family. They're gonna love it for Thanksgiving.
It's not a bad Thanksgiving. What about you, Blake or Danny?
You know what? Blake's not wrong. It is a good Thanksgiving movie. But I do think it's streamable. I don't think it's rewatchable.
Oh,
Yeah.
very. I think it's a run to go see it, really, dude, because so many people are watching it. It's their highest. It set the record for their best
Mhm.
opening weekend. Just beat Palm Springs, which set that record earlier this year. So
Oh, that was a great
uh,
movie.
That was a fun
that
movie.
one's really good. And we'll cover that sometime. That's a good one. But run, yeah, definitely run out to see it. So every week you can catch us here on YouTube with Adventures in Movies looks at dot dot dot. Next week we got a special surprise for you. We're going to do something we've never done before. It's going to be a lot of fun. But or excuse me, comment below, open review policy, and we'll see you next week.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. That was my line.
Adios. That's my line.